This is the full walkthrough of how to review our test. First type of question, if you have a conditional statement, then you need to identify the hypothesis and conclusion. So we have our conditional statement. It's an if-then statement. It says if Kayla works 20 hours this week, then she will earn $220. I'm going to copy. My hypothesis is, Kayla works 20 hours this week. My conclusion is she will earn $20. Now I'm actually going to replace she with Kayla because you can do it either way. If you want to try to reverse the hypothesis and conclusion, you'd want to be able to put that there. Okay. For a Venn diagram, the hypothesis is always there. The conclusion is there. It's outside. Okay? So let's go ahead and think about what this is. So for our hypothesis, we're talking about insects and arthropods. Now arthropods are a bigger group than insects because arthropods contain insects. So the hypothesis is if something I shouldn't say if. Something is an insect. The conclusion is something is an arthropod. Okay? So our conditional statement would be if something is an insect, then it is an arthropod. And that's all there is to it. Okay? So hypothesis, when you see something like this, something or it or animal or whatever it might be, that's how it works. Okay? On to our next idea, rewriting each statement as a conditional. If something blank, then it blank. So all pentagons are polygons. Okay? Now pentagons and polygons are like geometric objects, right? A lot of times you can use, you can see that these are, I might identify this as figures. Okay? So a good rule of thumb is to say, well, let's think about this. So pentagons and figures, okay? So I could, if I wanted to, do this type of thing. And this would be the polygons. And this in there would be, I'm just going to put pent. Pent and poly for short, okay? So I can kind of think of it that way. Or I can just try to draw a conclusion. So if a figure is a pentagon, then it is a polygon. Okay? Do you have to draw the Venn diagram? No. Does it help sometimes? Sure. If you're trying to answer this on a Google document, you don't need to draw the Venn diagram. You just need to do that on your own paper. Okay? Let's look at this next thing. It's talking about inverse, converse, inverse, and contrapositive. Okay? So converse is P implies Q. Converse is Q implies P. Inverse is not P implies not Q. And contrapositive is not Q implies not P. Okay? So here's what we have to do. This is the animal is a bird. An animal lays eggs. Those are our P. That's our P and our Q. Okay? So this is P. This is Q. All right? I'm going to underline what each one of it is. That's P. And that's Q. Okay. So the converse would be to reverse the order. So if, instead of saying if it lays eggs, I say if an animal lays eggs, then it is a bird. Okay? The inverse would be if an animal is not a bird, then it does not lay eggs. Okay. I negated P and negated Q and kept the order. For contrapositive, I'm going to negate the second statement. So if an animal does not lay eggs, then it is not a bird. Okay? So let's think about each one of these in order. If an animal lays egg, then it's a bird. Okay. Well, something you might know is spiders lay eggs. Is a spider a bird? No. So this statement is false. Spiders laying eggs is a counterexample. So if an animal is not a bird, then it does not lay eggs. Okay? We need to think of some animal that's not a bird. Okay? What about a platypus? Is not a bird. But platypus lays eggs. Okay? So that's a false statement because I have a counterexample. If an animal does not lay eggs, then it is not a bird. So the thing is, could you think of any animals that don't lay eggs that are in fact birds? And that's going to be a true statement because there wouldn't be. Okay? Remember that the initial condition statement up here is true. So if the initial statement's true, the contrapositive is going to be true. Now, if the initial statement is true, the converse and inverse, they could be true as well, but know that they're kind of linked together. The original conditional and the contrapositive have the same truth value. The inverse and the converse always have the same truth value as well. Okay? Okay, let's look at the next statement, which is about counterexamples. So we have a counterexample for the following statement. It says, if someone is a leader of a country, then that person is a man. Now that is true that in our case, America right now, they've always been men, the presidents, but you look elsewhere, there's been a lot of cases where that's not the case. So in Germany, okay, Angela Merkel leads Germany. She's the chancellor. Germany. She is not a man. So that is a counterexample for that statement that disproves the statement. Okay? Let's look at our next one. This is a pattern situation. We say, what's the next pattern here? So 3, 7, 11, 15. You're adding 4, right? So if you identify that, you add 4 every time. So that means our next term would be 15 plus 4, which would be 19, and then 23, and then so on. Okay? Now let's think back to how we would originally do this. If we're talking about the 100th term, okay? The first term is 3. The second term is 7. You add 7 once to get to the second term. So to get to the 100th term, you're going to have to add it 99 times, okay? So if we start off with 3 plus 4 times 99, well, 4 times 99 is 396. 3 plus 396 would be 399, okay? So that's the way we would be able to kind of predict the future value, okay? For our last concept, we're looking at converse and biconditionals. A conditional and the converse form a biconditional when combined. So we say if P then Q, if Q then P. Then we say P if and only if Q. Okay? So we're going to look at these this statement here. We're going to turn it into a biconditional statement, and then we're going to determine if that statement is true. If it is true, we'll say true. If it's false, we need to provide a counterexample. So if we look at this, if two numbers are even, that's our P. Their sum is even, that's going to be our Q. Okay, so I switched it up. So this is P. And that's Q. Okay, so I need to write something that says P if and only if. I can use IFF Q. Okay, so to write my biconditional would be P first. Two numbers are even if and only if their sum is even. Okay? So what that means is that if the sum of two numbers is even, that the two numbers would be even. If the two numbers are even, then their sum would be even. Seems like that's a pretty reasonable statement, but I'm going to tell you this is false. Why? We need to think of two numbers that are not even, that add up to an even number. 1 plus 3 equals 4. That disproves the statement. So the first thing, if the original conditional statement is true, if two numbers are even, then their sum is even. That's true. But if you say that if two numbers if the sum of two numbers is even, then the two numbers are even, that's false. Okay? So that's the difference between a biconditional statement. You have to look at and examine both statements. Okay? So you have to think about what that is. And it might be worthwhile to think about what the converse is. The converse says if two numbers sum is even, then the two numbers are even. And that statement is false. So if either one of the conditional statements, the original statement or the converse, are false, the whole biconditional is false. Okay? So let's actually look at this. Let's think about biconditionals from another perspective. If we're looking at a biconditional, how do we write what the two conditionals would be? So let's think about this next one. A quadrilateral is a rectangle if and only if it has four right angles. So I have my P, which says a quadrilateral is a rectangle. And I have my Q, which says it has four right angles. Okay? So my first statement would be my conditional, which would say if a quadrilateral is a rectangle, then it has four right angles. Okay? My converse would be to switch the order and say if a quadrilateral has four right angles, then it is a rectangle. Okay? And both of these statements are true. Okay? True. True. Therefore, the biconditional is true. Now, we're talking about trying to define something. If what we're saying is in terms of a biconditional statement is if that is a true statement, then that is a good definition. Okay? So a good definition, right, of a quadrilateral is a rectangle with four right angles. If we had something that was only true from one perspective, an if-then statement versus if and only if, it's not a good definition. Okay, I hope that helps you with the review. Good luck.